Hello and welcome to the JfG Podcast. This is episode 257. My name's Alex. I'm joined, as ever, by my very good friend Ash. Hey, buddy. We were just discussing how, with this being like the 15th, 16th week of like pandemic-y, lockdown-y times, that we've done absolutely fucking nothing, and there's nothing to talk about our lives or anything like that.
Yeah. I did gardening.
There you go.
Next week, my beer might be ready to drink, so that's good news.
Nice, like it.
I ordered some more malt and hops and yeast. Gonna make more beer because I like beer. And
I also like beer.
Yeah.
What are you drinking this evening, buddy?
Well,
exactly.
At this moment in time, I'm on the Rhinebecker, but I have this lined up. There you go. That's backwards for you, if you can read that backwards on the old webcam. I've got a Joker IPA. There you go.
Oh, I do like the Joker.
It's wickedly hoppy. I'd never had it before. It's from the
Some people call you Maurice.
Yeah.
As I understand it.
Yeah. Whoop woo. Yeah, it was. I was obviously in the shop at the weekend doing the weekly shop.
In the shop.
Aldi again, and yeah, they've just got like. I don't think it's their beer festival season. That's normally like October when they bring out all the beers. But they had shitloads of like different beers, and I was like, I love this. It was £5 for 4 large ones.
Just getting stuck in.
$1.25 a large can. I'm like, yeah, I love that. And they're all right. Not bad. I got one left, so I thought I'd save that. Podcast night for a treat. That's what I
Very
like to
nice
do.
too, buddy. Yeah. Always a plan. Always a good one, the Joker.
And yeah, the beer I'm going to be brewing is whatever that one you had the other week. Is it Napa Valley or something?
The Sierra Nevada.
There you go. Something like that. And Napa Valley. I don't even what is that? That's a place? I don't know.
Yeah. It's in California. It's not too far from.
There you go. Is that wine country? I'm going to say.
Very much so.
Yeah,
very much. Yeah.
I'd like to go there one day.
Oh, it's a special place. It's a special place. Okay. Very much so, buddy. Not at the moment, really. Everyone's
dead,
dying.
Yeah.
But in general, very nice.
I'm going to I'll ask you, what are you drinking, obviously, buddy? And then I need to go on to something else.
Okay. Well, I suspected as much. I'm on the Adnan's Ghost Ship cans, buddy.
Massive fan.
Out of the kegs.
Shit.
I've gone with the Ghost Ship. Citrus Pale Ale, buddy. It's a really nice beer, this.
It's a banger,
wonderful,
Rufio.
It's a beautiful session beer. Like, it's very drinkable. It's got a certain tang to it, a certain I don't know what. And,
Citra, I'm going to go for.
I very much enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's
very nice. So I was at work, obviously, this week because I've been at work throughout this entire thing, as we all know.
You do that all the time.
I do it 5 days a week. I love it.
Yep.
Can't get enough of that work.
Never stops.
Yeah. And we're having a discussion about the coronavirus, which is, out and about. And I get confused. No, not confused. These people are stupid, right?
Right.
They're going on about how it's... first of all, it starts off as like, what if this is a conspiracy? I think we've had like talks about conspiracy in the coronavirus on here before. And they're like, what would it be? And I was like, oh, well, I had the classic one of like the whole make people wash their hands more as a conspiracy because, I think a lot of conspiracies are complete bullshit, which is why they're conspiracies, I reckon. Now, one which I could kind of get on board was that it's a whole like reset on the planet, so we need everything to fucking stop for a few months so that the planet can like heal. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Avengers Endgame light.
Yeah. Which I was like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Yep, nice.
And then apparently it's just the government. I'm like, why? Why is it just well? They just want to control everyone.
Right.
Right. And I mean, I feel like the government kind of control us a lot already with, taxes and, money just in general. Like that's kind of how my life works with money, and they control the money. And
right.
But the government control us, right?
Right.
So they can control us more, and the rich get richer. I mean, how?
Right.
How are the rich getting richer out of this situation?
Well, I mean, anyone can find a tenner on the floor is the first thing I'll say, buddy. But also, did the government release the virus? Is that how they're controlling us? Or
it could be. These are all
the virus doesn't
These
exist?
are all possibilities. So, this guy watches like David Icke. Do you know of David Icke?
I do know of David Icke.
He believes that like the royal family are lizards or something. I'm not too up on it anyway.
No, he does. He does believe that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So today, different topic. We're on about don't know how. Get onto the topic of aliens, like you do.
Yep.
I'm desperately trying to remember how we got there. I think we were talking about ancient Egypt or something, and
Stargate, and then the
Stargate came in there.
Yep.
And then there was a hieroglyph of this guy holding, like, it looked like a large marrow or something, but no, it's a light bulb. Yeah,
right.
It's a light bulb. So they had electricity back then, and the electricity came from urns, which were called Baghdad batteries, I believe was the term that we found out after obviously using Wikipedia, the source of all knowledge. They all had like elongated heads, not because they had a disease, but because they were aliens themselves.
Right.
And I mean, I was just like, yeah, I believe that. And then it's like, well, there's loads of pyramids everywhere around the world. I'm like, maybe it was just a really good structure, to build when people were doing building in those eras. And they were like, I know what we can do. Like, stack stuff up so it goes up to a point, yeah? And then everything runs off it, like rain or whatever.
I mean, this is all well and good, but as we all know, the pyramids are actually the tops of giant cat heads, which the Egyptians worshipped because they thought that they were funny. So,
oh, I like that. I'm gonna have to say that tomorrow.
Just let him know. See if he believes that brass eye quote. That'd be a good shout as your next port of call, buddy.
I like it. I know it was just entertaining, because there's like nothing to back any of this up. But then he was like, no, there's a hieroglyph of like a helicopter and a spaceship. I'm like, okay. So pulls it up, and I'm like, right, that clearly looks like someone's made it in their back bedroom or in their back garden and just like slapped it on a wall somewhere. But hey,
it's been a pleasure having this chat with you, I have to say.
I mean, I just thought you might want to have an insight into what I have to deal with on a daily basis. I mean, I don't know where you stand on all of this. I can only call it it's bullshit. But
well, my theory, buddy, has always been and remains, and it's maybe not a very popular one, but to my mind, if someone is stupid, rather than trying to educate them, I prefer to leave them to it, safe in the knowledge that I will always be smarter than them. 2, that they will repeatedly embarrass themselves for the rest of their lives. 3, that they're never any threat to me because they don't even possess the ability for basic thought. And all of these kind of come into play for me.
The moment,
for example, if the president of your country decides to hold a rally with lots and lots of people in one place, and people are like, I'm going to go to that place.
Yeah.
Then rather than perhaps dissuade them from that course of action, maybe you want all those people in that fucking place, because I tell you what, buddy, at least you know where they are. And also, you know, if they want to run that gauntlet, then they can. So
no fact.
I like to leave idiots as they are, because they remain idiots, and that's punishment enough. That's kind of my strategy in life.
I knew I had won. Was I said, well, how do we even know that this is real? You know, maybe it's the Matrix. And and then I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure that the phrase was, well, that's been proven to be true. Came out.
It's true that we're in a simulation. It's been proven.
I was like, right.
Stars the Wachowskis.
And then everyone started laughing. And that's when I knew I'd won.
There you go. That's when you knew you were fucking cock of the walk, king of the hill.
Yeah.
And needn't worry any further, buddy.
Nice
to know.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway.
Well, thanks very much.
I'd made some filler content for you there.
I enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Let us know your thoughts of anything in our Discord.
If you can form any sort of coherent opinion of whatever the fuck that was, then power to you, I'd say. More power to you. And,
I just think you need a bit of faith, really.
Chuck faith in. Why not? At this point, you know,
everything.
As another variable.
Yeah.
I just like watching dank memes, personally. I'd rather not think about anything else.
Dank? Is that like a mouldy thing?
It's a bit ripe, sort of ripe memes, but you know, almost too ripe. Like sort of over the edge, but not quite. You know, you're like, I think so.
He's on board.
No longer. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's that. Let's talk about some games, I guess.
Games. Let's talk about one game.
One game to rule them all.
The only game. The only game that I've been playing. Have you been playing any other games? Have you been playing any more Last of Us, buddy, this week?
I stuck another couple of hours into it. It carries on.
It does continue. that game just keeps on going, doesn't it?
Keeps going. It continues. I can't remember where I am because I've been playing other game.
Other game
that came out. That game, I guess, is F1 2020. It came out on Friday. That's when we got it because we weren't cunts and didn't buy the expensive one that came out on Monday or Tuesday because cunts.
We didn't want 4 extra classic cars and 3 days early access. And a selection of liveries and currency for your podium pass. We weren't really interested in any of that dog shit, so we didn't
love that podium pass.
Interestingly, they seem to have coded it so that whenever you fire up the game, it always says you're playing the Michael Schumacher edition, and whenever you unlock trophies, it says that you'd unlocked them on the Michael Schumacher edition. Whether that's strategic marketing to try and get people from now on to buy that. What is
this Michael Schumacher edition?
It's the advanced deluxe edition, buddy. And as well, you know, with the trophies and the loadings.
I'm well informed
of the tukas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We haven't bought that version. We don't need it. But anyway,
go on. Let's go. Let's talk about this.
I had quite the rant, which of course is a posh rant, about the reviews and the state of games journalism last week, which really is like screaming into a fucking void. But I did it anyway. I hope people appreciate that. I promised that I would come back this week with a genuine review of F1 2020 that not only tells you a little bit about the game and my experiences with it, but also covers all of the content that the game holds. For example, the entirety of the online mode.
Wow.
So,
what?
Yeah. Fucking strap in, buckle up, buckaroos.
Right,
because I'm going to talk about stuff that's not in any of the reviews because all the reviews came out before the game went live.
That's crazy. Why would that be a thing?
Well, that would be a thing because of clicking and advertising revenue and a complete lack of fucking scruples. That would be the trifecta
pulse.
of those three things, buddy. So, yeah. That's this sounds like there's a turkey in the road.
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble, indeed, buddy. Let's have a look. No sign of a turkey.
Is it one of those elusive turkeys?
I think it's one of those stealth ninja turkeys.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
He's throwing you off the scent with his little...
Huge. Yeah, it's a Codemasters turkey. They're trying to get me to stop talking about the online.
Yeah,
They don't want it to happen. Right,
Well, it's
I've
gonna...
written a lot.
And there it comes. Get that drink in you. You're going to need it because you're going to be talking for like half an hour now, and I'm just going to be
There
like,
we go.
yes.
Yeah, if you don't care about the Formula One game, then this was a bad week for you to listen to our podcast. We got a bit of news at the end, but I'm not going to lie, this is pretty Formula One centric. So,
yeah, I would say so.
So yeah, we've both been playing it this week. Obviously, we got stuck in on game night. We played it for a really long time on game night. And on Monday night, Wheeltown had a poke as well. I've played quite a lot of this game online and offline. I've tried out lots of different modes. Firstly, the big talking point was the addition of this My Team mode, which lets you create your own team from scratch, giving it a name and a livery and a badge and building your driver and then picking a co-driver from Formula 2. This mode is excellent. It adds a hugely personal touch to the career mode that was sort of seen in the previous games, and you've still got that R&D stuff, research and development, where you run practice sessions to score points and then you can spend them on upgrades for your car and so on. But additionally, you end up with factory stuff as well, which means when you're back at your HQ between races, you can upgrade different departments. Really interesting stuff, even down to your second driver. You can try and improve them. Obviously, it's a team sport to a degree, and you want your driver to be scoring points, so you can buy him, like, upgrade his simulator and upgrade what sort of data he's got access to and all of that sort of thing, investing in him with the slight risk that he might leave your team for pastures new. If he gets really good, he might fuck off if you don't sort of get up to the level that he fancies straight away. So
that's one thing that I kind of liked. That was a bit of a surprise to me. I knew a lot of the features that were in this My Team mode, but the fact that between races you can schedule events, I was like, oh. And I won one of my races because I was racing against incredibly shit AI, and I got to have like a 1 day like podium party. I was like, woo! Obviously, I didn't get to see anything, but it was like good for like morale and stuff. But you get to micromanage a lot more with that stuff. Like the R&D thing is pretty much the same from what I remember from the normal season mode, but it's all these added bonuses, like you say, and you can go on like 5-day specialized aerodynamics training and stuff like that, so your aero team will be better and things like that. You can really knuckle down into it a bit more there, I would say, which is cool.
The introduction of the calendar has made that possible, and as you say, like there's quite a decent chunk of variety in terms of what events you can stack up each week to week to sort of improve things. If things do go very poorly for you, or you misspend or have problems, then you've also got the ability to shut off certain areas of your factory for money saving and that sort of thing. So it's pretty robust systems, and the addition of sponsors as well. You pick one when you make your team, but you can start adding more and more as you sort of rank your team up. To the point where you can end up with 5 sponsors in the end, all generating revenue for you each week. And
more money.
It's really cool. What isn't cool is the addition of Podium Pass. The content is just more liveries and gloves and helmets and just a load of bullshit.
Shit that could just be in the game.
Absolutely, and it's stupid and annoying, but there's no shortage of non-Podium Pass liveries, decals, colours and editing to be done, so it doesn't really affect anything other than just being generally annoying and sort of cash grabby. The way that it parks this like paid for content front and center, showing you like a bullseye style, let's take a look at what you could have won after every single race or session or practice session.
Before, it was just an XP bar that went up and sometimes never stopped with the sound. That was always fun. At least they don't have that issue. Well, I haven't come across that issue anymore. Now it's a case of you get your XP and it shows you like the shit you can get on your next level. Which is wank, I would say. One thing about all the what are they called? Fucking shit that you put on your car, decals and suits and what are they called?
Yeah, liveries and your suit colours and all the decals and bits and pieces.
Oh, that word's just gone. It's the one that everyone sells in it. Cosmetics. There you go. Yeah, that's the word. One thing that really annoys me in this game is with the colours. There's no numerical value. So trying to match up like your suit to your car, to your badge, to your any other colours is just a fucking nightmare on this game. And I'm pretty anal with that kind of thing. Which isn't good.
What's more annoying is there is in at least one of those menus, I don't know if it's matching the car to the stripes or the stripes to the car or something like that. You can
see, when you got the stripes
one
to
of
the
them
car.
At least, you can match, can match colour with triangle. But in the others, you can't do that.
No.
And
you can't spin stuff round. It's just fucking shit.
It's a bit poor, but it's their first stab at like this proper design system that actually matters. So it's a little bit light, but there's more than enough there for me.
You could get decals for your multiplayer car, couldn't you? And
you can design your multiplayer car. I don't know how many people actually bothered. It wasn't something you could use in career mode at all on the old game.
But in this, it's I don't know. It's like surely when testing it, they'd be like, "Oh, that's a bit shit. Maybe we should do something with that." But
I think it's a matter of time, and always has been. They've got like an 8-9 month turnaround each year because they're releasing it annually. This year would have been an excellent year to skip a year to come back with the next gen time round. The season was basically like postponed anyway, to the point where we've now got an official F1 game that doesn't feature the current official season. That's another thing that I think they could probably have quite easily added, was just quickly uploading, like, because you can pick like 22 races, 16 races or 10 races when you go into the My Team thing. Why not just make it so that one of those options is the current roster of tracks? I guess we're going to be running a load of tracks that aren't even in the game this season because of the pandemic. So
you're saying something that makes sense there. Along with the fact that, why can't I pick the amount of laps once again?
Yeah, that's always been a bit of a problem. Like the fact that you have to pick 3, 5 or 25% races. Like, we've never really understood why you can't pick 8, for example.
Why not?
Whether it's having to do a lot of simulation in the background in terms of like tire wear and all of that sort of thing, weather systems. I think that's why. I think they've set it as 4 or 5 different options so that they can program the mechanics and the simulation to those increments.
I feel like there's simulations that could be used to fix that.
I think so, yeah, and other simulations don't have this problem.
Yeah,
like Project Cars 2, you could pick between 1 and 999 laps. So, I don't know why. It's a bit of a pain, but yeah.
Imagine if it was 1 or 990.
Yeah, one or the other. Yeah, you can just do one lap, just your out lap, or you got to drive around for 3 days.
Yeah,
one of the options.
I keep derailing you, buddy. Sorry, carry on.
Oh, it's fine. It'd be really boring if it was just half hour of me just fucking chatting away. But, however, multiplayer, buddy. Let's talk about multiplayer.
I've been there.
So, multiplayer has 0 additional content. There is nothing different. Except the actual menu has got a new skin for like lobbies when you're making them and stuff, but there doesn't seem to be anything new there at all in terms of modes or content or features. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. So that's the content aspect of it. Very few of the previous issues like the car briefly ghosting onto the start-finish line when you go into the pits, and that happens with every car that goes into the pits. So every time you're driving around in a race, suddenly you're greeted with a fucking terrifying apparition of a Mercedes very briefly before heading off down the start-finish line. Vibrating cars, all the cars vibrating and bouncing up and down on the start line. This has been an issue with this video game for several years. They still haven't fixed it. And the lag seems to be as prevalent as it ever was. I don't feel like anything's changed at all.
They haven't changed any of the netcode.
It doesn't feel any different. There's still rubber banding issues. It's kind of the same as it ever was. And the only big difference this year, I think, is the nature of the physics engine makes you less likely to spin with contact, which I'll go into a bit more in a sec. But obviously it is a positive in this circumstance. But yeah, like in a lobby with your friends who have like decent internet and are like probably relatively nearby or in the same country, I don't think you'll have too much trouble with cars lagging about. But in full public lobbies, you can just fucking forget it. And I've tried this in several. It's an absolute shit show lag fest. If it wasn't for already the fact that, you know, it's almost impossible to get a clean race of any kind and play properly in a public lobby. But as soon as you chuck 22 random connections at this video game, it's literally a nightmare. Like it's just a waste of everyone's time. And they haven't put any systems in place to deal with that at all. And the other thing that I notice is even the AI drivers online will like vibrate about and stuff. And that that's got to be sort of netcodey issues. And sometimes, you know, we'll be doing a race and we can both see this car like bouncing all over the place. It's an AI car. Like it's not even a connection. It's not even a person, and it can't even keep track of that. On the other side of things, I've played sort of 4 hours or so of AI drivers online, a full grid, which on the last game was an absolute nightmare. And they do seem to be a little bit more aware of you than last year. We didn't get quite so much driving along a straight and Lance Stroll fucking careens into the side of you absolutely at random. That sort of thing didn't seem to be happening as much. And the main reason that it isn't a problem, even when you do make contact, as I said before, is this change to the physics and the spinning. So yeah, like it's a huge change. They've made it much easier to keep control of the car. Contact rarely results in you like balleting your way around in a circle. And this helps keep the online races way more competitive. It also means that even when the AI twats into you, you probably just bounce off them rather than having your whole race ruined. And all of this, just like this stability, it's like head and shoulders above previous years. The cars feel like weighty and like planted, and you can concentrate on driving really fast and also racecraft, like having really fun battles with people rather than feeling like you're on eggshells all the time, like bambying around the track. Like every time there's a shift in camber, you're like easing off the throttle. It's much better. It's much more fun and a whole lot easier, but not in a way that sort of feels cheap. It's not in a way that makes you feel like they've dumbed it down at all. If anything, it feels more complex in that you can now concentrate on the fucking fun of it and the important bits rather than just stability. You know what I mean?
Makes a hell of a lot of difference, I must say.
It does feel different, doesn't it, this year? Like, for the better, I think.
Yeah. Like, mainly the downforce, I would say. It feels like it's there. It doesn't feel like I'm just gripping. It actually feels like the car's, you know, got some weight to it.
Yeah, it's stuck to the ground and you can go over curbs. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, we chucked it around Spain the other night, and that's like a whole different track, that Barcelona track.
Because that track is just the slipperiest motherfucker.
Yeah, well, not anymore. What? Not anymore. Now you can fly around that thing. You know that bit where you go down the hill and take that left-hander in fourth, where you always lose the back end if you're not careful?
I know the one.
You can fly through there now.
Nice.
Everything just makes more sense when the cars actually stick to the road. And bearing in mind, we're playing with no assists and manual gears. So if anyone's going to spin round and lose control, it's us. And
definitely.
I mean, if you're running assists, then you're going to be absolutely fine here. So yeah, that's the online. No one really talked about it. Mixture of reasons for that. Firstly, being that they've done literally nothing to it at all. Secondly, it wasn't available for testing before they all decided to publish their reviews.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
the same problems that have always been there are still there, and it still means you can't just jump into a lobby and enjoy yourself. And other games have fixed these problems. Other games like Forza 7 and a GT Sport, there's incentives to do well. There's a proper system of skill level, and it locks previous lobbies if you don't get up high enough. And there's proper penalties for people, and they're not able to join another lobby for 20 minutes. All of these things could easily be implemented by coders, and they just aren't doing it. And this is supposed to be an absolute non-contact simulation sport that they're making a game of here. And it just makes a mockery of it, really, not putting that effort in to those online systems, in my opinion, buddy. That's what I think.
Yes.
Split screen. It's got split screen, though.
Yeah.
Have you tried that yet? I mean, it's more... I can't imagine
I had to
unless
play
you
it on the
kids.
controller. I didn't enjoy it.
It runs all right, though, doesn't it? Like it
we did a few laps around Austria, I believe it was. And it was fine. We did a Grand Prix, just a cheeky 5-lapper before the actual Styrian Grand Prix, actually. It was just before. And it was fine. I was like, this is okay. It's split screen. We had this 10 years ago. Cool. I don't think I'm going to use it. Maybe? I don't know.
But I can't imagine why I'd use it. I mean, especially when you've got a wheel, it just feels a bit silly, doesn't it?
It doesn't make sense. I will only use it if I want to play it with the kids. That's the only time I'm going to use it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think if that was the situation, I would rather do like a lap each, or do a time trial and see if we could beat each other's time. I don't know. I don't think I'll play it split screen.
I think it'd be good for some people who fancy it, and obviously it's got this casual control mode now, which is slightly confusing when you start the career mode. It's one of those ones where the mode that you're on is highlighted, and if you push the button, it switches to the other one, rather than dialing in exactly what you've got. I just found it slightly confusing. But anyway,
I know.
I haven't tried the casual controls, but as I hear it, it's basically like fucking squirt the throttle and do what you like. It's got all of the assists, like steering assist, brake assist, like all of that stuff. So that's cool. Like any of that accessibility stuff's really good. Let's talk about the graphics, as you are starting to come to terms with the fact that this entire podcast is about one game, and that game is a racing game, buddies. Graphically, this game doesn't look any better than last year. I watched a really funny YouTube video a couple of days ago of a dude who literally compared 2019 and 2020 on the PC on Ultra.
Yeah.
And I would have thought if there's going to be anywhere where there's a graphical shift from one year to the other, that's where it would be, running on a 2080 Ti. There's no fucking difference at all. And he highlighted many, many occasions where it seems to have been downgraded graphically. And I don't know if that was just lazily in preparation for co-op, like for the split screen.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Like, it doesn't look better than last year. In a lot of ways, it seems worse. The only real textural improvement is like inside cockpits and some of the back of the cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of the environments are completely recycled, to the point where he was spotting weird like shadow artifacts from 2019's game, where there's shadows that have spilt over because of clipping problems and they shouldn't be there. And on the new game, those remain. Those are still there.
I'm glad they've put a lot of work into it.
They just haven't got time. I would argue that means you shouldn't release annually, but they're making a lot of money and everyone's buying it, and I'm buying it, so
I'll buy it.
Who's the cunt, frankly? But yeah, the lighting engine, in my opinion, it makes everything look kind of colourful, but also sort of washed out in a way that makes it almost look worse than last year's.
Yeah.
There's, as I say, some textures have been changed. He highlighted some stuff around Monaco where they've changed all the trees, but they seem to have changed them almost for like Christmas trees. It doesn't look anything like the actual way Monaco looks, and very, very weird. Like, definitely looks worse. And yeah, the removal of some foliage around the outside of tracks and that sort of thing, just bizarre, like lack of detail in places. The biggest problem, and this is, I'm only speaking as someone who's played this game on the base PS4 and no other system, but they are heavily implementing a variable resolution here, to presumably to maintain that frame rate, although...
Yeah.
Again, they didn't seem to have this system in place last year, and the game didn't suffer any sort of frame rate problems. It's always been a firm 60, the F1 game. But this is an absolute killer on the base PS4. Sometimes textures take an absolute age to pop in. Sometimes the low-res asset never actually disappears at all. The res just seems to drop. It just seems to stay that way. Yeah, I had a race the other night where it loaded me into the pits, and I didn't have a wheel of any kind on the car. I was like, I'm probably going to need one of those. I went into the computer, came back out, and then it popped in with like a really awful low texture, like a block of cardboard, and then eventually the wheel loaded in as the assets kind of streamed in from the request. There's real issues here. I'd imagine it's better on other ones. What I don't understand is I've watched several videos, including Digital Foundry videos, where they tested this version and they haven't mentioned any of these problems. I find that so strange, sort of suspicious in a way that makes me feel like what I'm playing isn't what they tested. I don't know, maybe that's a conspiracy theory, buddy. But,
hello.
Yeah, there you go.
Getting paid off, are they, by the government? They're keeping us, they're trying to control us.
I think they are trying to control us, buddy. The resolution, sometimes when you're entering the pit lane, it drops so low, it looks like a fucking PS2 game.
Oh, it's fucking... Even on the Pro, it looks...
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's the thing, because you're running the Pro, aren't you? So you've got the extra power. It doesn't seem to be making any difference for you.
No, it doesn't. It still looks terrible when that happens. And it's so noticeable. I don't understand why.
Well, that's the thing. The point of this variable resolution stuff is it's supposed to be difficult to spot whilst helping maintain the frame rate. That's the whole point of it. That allows you to have more detail than you normally would be able to, because you're loading things in sensibly. And hopefully this is something that future generations aren't going to be an issue once we're all running SSDs and so on. But the transitions between these resolutions on this game, I've spotted it in other video games as well, but they are so obvious and so distracting in this one. Like, it genuinely looks broken a lot of the time, where sometimes it'll form up on the grid and it just drops, the textures just drop down to like it's some sort of fucking storyboard model before loading back in again. It's really poor. Thankfully,
loading, we need to talk about that as well.
The loading is really, really long on this game.
Have you noticed that in that update that they brought in, previously it was just a black screen. Now at least it says loading in the top left hand corner now, instead of just having a black screen, and you're like, is this what's going on? Oh my, it takes so long.
It takes a really long time. I've had several times when the loading thing hasn't appeared until the black screen is gone, and then then it's continued to say loading throughout an entire race, and it's never gone away.
Cool. I mean, there's a few issues.
There's a few issues, but thankfully it doesn't really do any of this stuff while you're actually driving about. The frame rate's like rock solid 60, no matter what's going on the track. You could have 21 cars formed up in front of you, all like locking up and flying around a corner, and the thing just doesn't chug at all. Like, it's really solid. It fucking should be if they're going to use this sort of variable res.
Yeah, have you got a thing about the AI and how they're a bit more retarded in a good way? Anything written down?
I like what they've done to the AI.
I do as well.
It's they're ballsy, and they'll lunge and they'll defend in a way that never happened on the previous game.
No,
it's much better.
It's like in an offline situation where, like in my team or whatever, it is a delight to play against the AI, I must say.
It's a real challenge, and they'll use push to pass really cleverly, and I've had a couple of battles with cars of my sort of similar caliber where I've managed to sort of used my push to pass to fend them off, and I've kind of worn them down to the point where they've clearly like exhausted all their battery. Yeah. And then I can sort of pull away. I've like held in there. And the tire wear as well is really cool. Like I often pit onto a different strategy to the AI. Often when they're on the reds, I'm on the yellows and vice versa. And that means that if I can just keep sort of level with them on the slower tyre, then eventually they'll start coming back to me. And that sort of tactical sort of stuff is really cool.
They've done a very, very good job.
Last thing I wanted to mention really was the new tracks. Obviously, it's not very often that we get new tracks on the official Formula One game, but we've got 2 new tracks this year. Although, you know, with the way things are going, who knows whether Cody's have any sort of desire to patch in more tracks, bearing in mind that the season's kind of forming in front of us at the moment. There's Magello's been added. Looks like cool. Imola may be added, a Portuguese Grand Prix as well, Hockenheim. So, I mean, I would pay like a couple of quid for these tracks if they wanted to make it. That's how it starts,
buddy.
I would pay like happily, because there's a lot of work that goes into these tracks, like a massive amount.
I would as well, to be honest.
But the new tracks are good. Originally, I thought only one of them was good. I actually quite like both of them now.
Zandvoort's very good. I haven't played enough of Hanoi yet.
Hanoi, yeah. So Zandvoort is excellent, but it feels to me like it's the sort of track that is excellent on the game, but I'm not convinced will be a good race in real life, because it's narrow.
Not a lot of opportunities.
Not a great deal of chances for overtaking, but it flows beautifully and it really feels great to play, like really, really great to play. Vietnam is all right. Like most of it's just sort of straights and hairpins, but Sector 3 is really fun. Like lefty, righty.
Tidy.
It's cool. And the whole thing is quite a nice tactical challenge, even if it isn't that great a circuit, because it's so hard with like push to pass and DRS to get away from folks. So like to build up a big enough gap through Sector 3 to the point where you can stay ahead of someone until you get there again. It's a bit like when we do our GT Sport racing around the Nordschleife in camper vans. Like whoever's at the front can build up like a 10-second lead if they want, but that track ends with like a 3, 4, 5 mile straight and everyone will catch up. It doesn't matter
up on
who.
You're
exactly.
Get caught.
And push to pass and DRS is catch up, basically.
Yeah, totally.
So, it's tactical and it's quite fun. But Zandvoort's definitely the standout of the 2. I think in real life, I think Vietnam could be really fun, actually.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So all in all, buddy, my conclusion, very, very long, almost like a sort of F1 special. Apologies for anyone who's not interested, although you've probably already switched off by now. All in all, this is a great game. It's well worth picking up for fans who want like in-depth racing and loves the sport and buy it regularly, even though it iterates rather than revolutionizes. Like for those running a wheel and no assists, like the handling model improvements are night and day compared to last year's, to the point where the old game feels almost unplayable once you get used to this one. If you're more casual and using a controller, if it's not so much the case that you're like, you know, maybe if you're running assists and stuff, then you're not going to feel the handling model difference as much. And unless you've got like a burning desire to do the My Team mode or try out these 2 new tracks, I don't think there's a great deal of value for you there, really. But yeah, for anyone running manual no assists, the new tracks and My Team mode, more than enough to justify a purchase alongside the handling. Just don't expect it to look like any different to last year's game or have any new interest from an online perspective. And then because I wrote rather a lot about this game, buddy, and I've been talking for a while, I will give it a score, even though it's not something I've ever done with anything before.
3.
It's an 8 out of 10 for me.
It is kind of an 8 out of 10.
It's fucking great. I
love F1. It's great
really,
sport.
really good. I'm hooked on this video game, but from a like year-on-year standpoint, I think they've done more than they had done for some years to add more stuff to this one.
That's true.
I could, you know, like if they'd taken a year off, came back with like a next-gen version of this game with all this new stuff, that's like a fucking world-beating video game. But Yeah, I can't imagine anyone being disappointed with this. I think is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think you can. You know what you're going to get. It's F1.
Yeah,
but they've made some changes which are good.
I love the team mode thing. Like, I really
my
love
team's
it.
fucking awesome. I can't wait to get back stuck into it. Every night I've come back and I'm like, even if I just pop on for like half an hour and do like a bit of the qualifying and like tick some boxes and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, it's good. It's really good.
It's probably worth mentioning as well my new chair that I've got, which I don't think I received until Friday. So yeah, I've been meaning to pick up some sort of racing seat or something for a while, and I finally took the plunge on this cheeky bad boy, which is called the Play Seat Challenge.
It's the Play Seat Challenge.
And it looked. I was worried about pulling the trigger for a while because it doesn't look that robust. Like, it's a folding chair. Yeah, it looks like a pretty expensive deck chair when you first sort of look at it. But all the online reviews are really good. And in the end, I managed to get a deal on it for sort of around the sort of like 130 mark, I think it was in the end, down from like 200, and I thought that's worth it.
That's a nice
especially
saving.
As I've had like a history of back problems and I'm suddenly playing lots of sim racing, so it seemed like a good plan.
You need something comfy to sit in.
Yeah,
that'll put you in the right position.
This thing is brilliant. It's really heavy duty fabric. It's got a nice frame to it with really like super strong Velcro straps across all of the different parts.
And you're a tall boy as well.
I'm 6'4" and hefty. It's safe to say. And it's real comfy. We played on game night. We played from 8 till 1 in the morning.
Nice.
I sat in this thing the whole time. I had no problems whatsoever. It was comfy and really supportive. And it's great because it doubles as a wheel stand as well. It's got like a front bar that you can fit your wheel to and a clip for your pedals at the bottom.
Have you tried that out yet?
I have not tried that out yet. No.
Okay, because I need to know if that's any good or not.
Yeah, because you're in the market for a stand, and if you are in the market for a stand, then this could be a good shout for a seat.
I might
and a stand
just
combo.
get a seat and stand. From what I've seen, it looks pretty decent. People have said that there's not a lot of movement there. There's a bit of a bounce to it, but
yeah, I've seen
not
that.
Noticeable. And I'm like, that'll do me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds fine with me. It's better than an ironing board.
It's true, and it's really cleverly designed in that it's like a bar that sort of can fold 180, so you can sort of open it to get out with the wheel hanging off it, and then they've even thought about a counterbalance for that as well, where you've got a sort of telescopic leg that comes out to the left-hand side, so that when you do pull that wheel over, the whole thing doesn't fall over and you don't die. So that's quite nice as well.
That's handy. Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't tried every aspect of it yet, but as a racing seat, I'm massively impressed. It's super comfy, really supportive, completely adjustable in terms of how like up you want it versus how slouched, and that will be handy when you're playing in different disciplines of the sport. You know, like a Formula One game, you kind of want to be sort of with your legs up a bit, and your back down a bit. It's really good. It's really, really good. So
nice.
Very pleased.
Love it.
That concludes the Formula One section of the podcast, buddies. And
you better put some timestamps on this, buddy.
Yeah, no, I can't really be asked with that. But we have got a little bit of other shit to talk about. First one, there was a rumour we mentioned a few weeks back, which has now been confirmed as true, and that is the fact that PES 2021 won't be launching as a brand new game, but instead it will be a seasonal update to PES 2020 at an affordable price. Affordable, bunny ears, because Konami said it's affordable.
How much do you reckon? I say £30.
I think it'd be less. I think it'd be
£20.
£17.
He's going to go for £17.
Yeah. But it could be less than that. I mean, what you're paying for is some real kits for a game that isn't allowed to have real names.
Yeah.
And as such, there's really only so much they can charge for that, surely.
Yeah. The way I see it is when I used to have Pez on my chipped original Xbox, I would download patches of all the squads and the kits and everything. And I guess you're just paying for that. But like you say, not all the kits.
They haven't got the license for everything.
No, and...
So are you paying for an option file that moves all the players about? Because you can download one of those off of a website anyway. I can't imagine what you're paying for, because literally you can download a save file off the internet that would give you all of the up-to-date teams and kits and names and everything. So I don't know what they're going to come up with. I can't see it, but that's why I think it's got to be sub 20 quid, whatever this thing is, because what on earth can they actually provide?
What are you buying?
Well, what you're buying is for them to build an option file with all of the player transfers in place. That's literally all you're buying, because they haven't got the licenses for a lot of the kits, but they do have the licenses for maybe 10 of their 15 leagues. It's fair to say. Like, that's
true.
You know, like I think Serie A's licensed, and all of the Asian leagues and the South American leagues.
I don't know. Something like that.
And they've got the Euros license, which presumably will carry over, so that can be updated for 2021. But
cool.
Yeah, you are sort of pissing in the wind a little bit, aren't you, with all of this?
Yeah, man. It's going to be funny when this thing comes out.
I think it's a good thing, though. I mean,
I think they should have done it years ago.
It's a consumer-friendly decision from Konami, which I don't know that I've ever been able to say that sentence before, but it's while the team works on the engine for the next-gen version of the game, and every other sports franchise is going to sell you a shit stopgap game at full whack.
Of course they are.
And they might sell you they might give you a free upgrade to the new system, but that free upgrade is just going to be the same game up-resed. It's not going to be built for it. Whereas Konami are like, we're going to build a video game for the next generation, and that's why.
Is that what they came out and said?
Well, they're saying they're working on the engine for the next gen version of their game.
Okay, wow. Okay,
when they release 2022, next summer, that will be
DOS. Yeah,
PS5 and Xbox Series X from the ground up. It should shit all over FIFA from a graphics point of view.
Hopefully.
So yeah,
depends on the gameplay, though.
It certainly does. Elsewhere, Ubisoft held their Ubisoft Forward event in the midst of more sexual assault allegations towards that company. What a lovely time they're having. They're such a lovely company, full of diversity, which is an old wooden ship. Anyway, the Forward event, did you watch this at all?
No.
It was dog shit.
I don't care about Ubisoft games.
I watched it live.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you.
You should. It was a mistake. But highlights include extensive Assassin's Creed Valhalla gameplay, which looks like Assassin's Creed, which I found disappointing.
Assassin's Creed, yeah.
And there was some other stuff that also wasn't very interesting. However, there was a reveal for Far Cry 6. And,
what? The sixth Far Cry?
It's Far Cry 6. It's starring Giancarlo Esposito, who is the really fucking cool dude from like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. He was in Revolution. Did anyone watch that? With the whole, there's no electricity anymore? He was in that as a baddie. He's usually a baddie. He looks like he's going to be a baddie in this as well. It's kind of like a Cuban setting, so it's a sort of like, very sort of Tropico-esque sort of island that we're going to be looking at on this occasion.
Drugs, got it.
Looks like it's a much bigger, like, urban environment. They've also said it's the biggest island map we've ever done, which with Ubisoft rarely means a good thing. But he's really cool. The I can't remember the name of the kid, but it's like he's like a father figure to a young kid who he's grooming to be the like El Presidente, and they've signed up the kid from Coco for that. Who I thought that kid was a really good voice actor in Coco, especially for a kid. There was no gameplay shown because this was a Ubisoft event, so heaven forbid they show us any gameplay. They just showed us like a 5-minute fucking teaser CG, as you'd expect from them. But
love it.
I actually really enjoyed Far Cry 5, even though it was a bit wank. And Cosmic Dad is getting the same sort of feeling as me by the sounds of it, as he popped into our chat this week and said the following, buddy. He said, "Oh man, Far Cry 6, bad guy is Giancarlo Esposito, the modern bad guy actor. That makes me so conflicted because I just know the game is going to be a glitchy pile of shit with exactly the same structure as every other Far Cry game. But now it's going to have really good cutscenes, maybe?"
Maybe. I mean, Far Cry 5 did not have great cutscenes.
The bliss. Yeah. Far Cry 5 was a hugely entertaining game with a terrible story. And I expect the exact same experience from this game. But either way, yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. They seem to have a good cast in place. There's rumors that the little kid is actually going to grow up to be Vass from Far Cry 3, which I don't know why anyone would care about that. I don't know anyone who has like a genuine love for the Far Cry franchise, but either way, it's kind of entertaining and it looks kind of cool. In terms of the setting and that, I can see it working really well. Feels like it's sort of Just Causing it a bit. Like, does it not feel a bit Just Cause 4 to you? The
Possibly, yeah.
It's the same sort of part of the world, same sort of island, the Presidente, the drugs. It's all a bit... Anyway.
A bit too close to home.
Yeah. Finally from me, buddy, Sony boosts PS5 manufacture from 6 million to 10 million units this year, as perceived demand grows. Rumour had it that pre-orders were going to go live yesterday. That was Tuesday. And there was rumours that, they were going to suddenly be like, it's this money and you can order it now. But that didn't happen.
Bye. No, the ship went live on Amazon Australia over the weekend or some point this week, I believe. No prices there, but everything's there. The digital version, the non-digital version, the headset, the camera, everything's all listed there.
It's there on the UK one now as well.
Yeah, it's just no prices.
No prices, no option to buy yet. It just says unavailable. You can sign up so they tell you when it's in stock, which in theory should give you an instant alert the moment that they make it live. But I think that the bottom line here is, judging by the sort of manufacture schedule they've got going on, is it doesn't look like it's going to be that hard to get one based on 10 million units to last them through the pre-order season and through Christmas. That would be utterly record breaking for them to sell that many.
Especially with another console coming out at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think we need to worry too much at this point. But there was another. Did you see that screenshot of like a black PS5 with a red, like a special edition one with like a red light rather than
with
a
the red
light?
Glow. Yeah, I have. Yeah. I've seen a lot of fan made ones as well. But I have seen the black one with the red. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're only a few days away.
I think it looks fucking horrible.
I think it looks dumb, but we're only a few days away from the Xbox event.
Yes,
which we should be able to talk about. I don't know if it's in time for next week or the week after, but we'll be able to cover that.
Well, when we do, isn't it?
And so that's kind of going to be sort of interesting. And perhaps if Microsoft announced a price at that event, then Sony had come out and announced theirs. It seems to be a game of chicken at the moment. But
I don't know if I mentioned I've cancelled my Game Pass. I think I did. I don't know.
Yeah, you said even if you pick it up again afterwards, then you're saving a bit at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, there's nothing on there that I want to play at the moment, I think. I had a look at the games coming out this month or week or whatever. Nothing really grabbed my attention, which was a shame.
Yeah, fair enough. That's the beauty of that service, is that you can just pick it up whenever you want, can't you?
Yeah. So. And I'm a bit busy with The Last of Us F1. And also this week, Ghost of Tsushima comes out. Yeah. So
the reviews have all landed for that now. I was reading through some of them. And it's kind of reviewed the same way that Infamous kind of reviews when Sucker Punch released that game. 7s, 8s, and 9s, basically. Some people really like it. Some people think it's a little bit disappointing. A lot of people say... I think most people seem to be saying it's not very original, but it is very fun. Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit difficult to be original in video games these days, I feel.
Especially with an open world game.
With a skill tree.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I'm well up for it. It's been a little while since we had a big open world game.
From what I've seen of it, it looks amazing, and I'm totally up for it. Looks cool. I'll play it.
Well, it seems likely that we'll probably be talking about that game next week then, buddies, and you'll be very pleased to hear that after the extensive Formula One that you were just exposed to. So, there you are. That's me, buddy. I feel like I've done rather a lot of talking.
You have. I'm surprised I'm still awake.
Yeah, it's difficult. I'm sure most people aren't, but it's been very polite of you to make the effort. Unless you've got anything else, we'll fuck off, shall we?
Yeah, let's fuck off, buddy.
Yeah, let's do that. Thanks so much for listening, buddies, if you still are. We'll be back next time round with more stuff. And until then, I've been Alex, he has been Ash.
Goodbye.
Farewell. You've been listening to the JfG Podcast with Ash and me, Alex. You can find us at www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, where you'll also find our Discord and Street Beat if you want to get involved with the show. Our Facebook is /the JfG Podcast, and our Twitter handle is @the JfG Podcast. We're on all those video streaming sites too, buddies, from TubeTube to twitch.tv /the JfG Podcast to mixer.com, aka beam.fucking-pro. We've got a PS4 community you can join, just search the JfG Podcast on there, and we're also on Google Plus if that is how you choose to live your life. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time.